going, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. Oh, just reading the thing. On today's game, from the Game Counselor's Answer Book for Nintendo Game Players. It's a book that I've had for years. And one of the homeboys, he worked at Kinko's for a minute, and he rebinded it for me for the free. So shout out to Terry. But yeah, this gave me a lot of insight and a lot of counseling and information on a lot of games over the years. And today's game, there's not a lot in here. It does tell me that your character's primary weapon doesn't work. It's useless. What am I talking about? Today's game is based on a book, much like this one. Well, not really. It's a novella from 1886. Robert Louis Stevenson's The Curious Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm sorry, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Same difference. But the game is from 1989. It was published by Bandai and developed by Advanced Communication Company. This game has been maligned over the years and has struggled to maintain some semblance of a reputation, but that's pretty hard when every reviewer this side of the Mississippi has decided that your game is trash. And most of them do it for clout because they really haven't tried to play the game. And while this game does suck, it ain't as bad as all that. Today, we're going to take a look at Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, first thing you notice about this game, if you played enough stuff, you occasionally come across games where pieces of music are used in more than one place because composers use music in different games. This is one of those examples. The title screen music for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde should be familiar to people who've played Rygar because it's the same music as the temples in Rygar, where you talk to the old dude that's sitting on the pillar. Yeah, it's the same thing. This game is weird, to say the least. You start out as Dr. Jekyll, and you're trying to make it to church so that you can marry your fiancée, Miss Millicent. Now, apparently, the townspeople want Dr. Jekyll up out of here because you got people walking around planting bombs. You got some lady singing, and her singing is just attacking you with musical notes. You got a bird dropping doo-doo on you. You got dogs and cats trying to hit you. You got a little kid running up trying to shoot you with a slingshot. Everybody's out to get you, right? And not only does this affect your health meter, but you also have a stress meter. And the stress meter has a J on one end for Jekyll and an H on one end for Hyde. And the more you get hit in Jekyll mode, the angrier you get. And the more that meter ticks over to the Hyde side. When it gets all the way over there, you transform into Mr. Hyde. And the game stops scrolling from left to right and starts scrolling right to left. Because Mr. Hyde is working his way back to the beginning of the game via the demonic world. This should be a bad thing, but there's a way that this kind of works. And it works to your advantage. If you get to a certain point in the game, you can, there's something you gotta do to kind of get the good ending in the game, because there's two endings. One where you completely avoid turning into Mr. Hyde, and you just go to the church. And another where you turn into Mr. Hyde when it's necessary. And yeah, it's weird to explain. It's hard to explain, actually. There is a mechanic where if you go too far past, if you go past where Jekyll transformed, you get struck by lightning and you die. If you die in either form, that's it. It's hard. It's a hard video game. Trying to navigate in a world where you can't really transform, where you can't defend yourself rather, as Dr. Jekyll, is difficult. Trying to navigate a world where everything is trying to kill you as Jekyll and Hyde, it's not fun. But yeah, this game gets that bad reputation for being strangely difficult and ridiculous and relentless. It comes by it honest. So anybody who's had issue with it, they right. Also, Jekyll's cane is useless, and he walks like a turtle. A very tired turtle. He's slow. The scrolling is slow. It's just a tedious exercise. But the Hyde levels, while you have to be strategic in how you transform into Hyde, they're solid. They're pretty solid. So yeah, while this game has its faults and they're justified, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is as bad as Back to the Future. Close, but nowhere near as bad. I promise. Now, about buying a copy of this, right? Somebody, I blame these YouTubers who have made this game a paragon of what a bad video game truly is. Because of y'all, this game is now costing like $25, $30 for a loose cart. Ain't no way whatsoever that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde should cost more than $5 for a loose cart. Matter of fact, I'll give it $5 to $10. It shouldn't cost more than $10. This game is not good. Is it irredeemably awful? No. But it's not good. And therefore it should not be out here selling at the same price as much better video games. Y'all screwed this up. It's your fault. I blame all of y'all. Thanks. But this has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. Hey, look. It's a game with a giant gorilla in it that's actually based on King Kong.